Hey, guess what? Bob is back, now at 106.3, playing the 80s, 90s, and whatever.
I get knocked down, but I get up again.
Check us out, the new Bob 106.3.
Hey South Mississippi, it's Jay Allen at Jay Allen Toyota, and I got something new for you for 2021. It's the Jay Allen Certified Collection. What that means is we selected our very best inventory with under 75,000 miles and they're 6 years old or newer. That comes with a multi-point inspection, a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty, and a 3-day buyback guarantee. So come check out the Jay Allen Certified Pre-Owned Collection right here, I-10 exit 38 in Gulfport, or on allentoyota.com.
When COVID started, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply began stocking very hard-to-find PPE items to make our community a safer place. When Amazon and other mega internet companies were out of stock or inflating prices, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply was providing local schools and businesses vital PPE supplies at fair prices. They were even sending thousands of dollars of PPE supplies free to local schools in need with help from other local business leaders. The next time your office needs PPE supplies, office furniture, or products to keep your business operating, consider a local company that supports your ball teams, cheerleaders, and area homeless. Consider Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply, the local guys that keep your prices fair, your service and selection excellent, and your health our business. Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply. We sell that too. Buy local.
SuperTalk.fm has a new look and is more informative than ever with expanded Mississippi news coverage, the latest Mississippi weather, Mississippi sports, and of course, the talk that's important to you. Every show, every podcast, and every late-breaking story. Constantly updating the news the second new developments happen. All in one place. The new SuperTalk.fm. Feeling down? Here's your prescription for a daily dose of good news and positive vibes. Good Things with Rebecca Turner. Every afternoon, Rebecca highlights all the good things happening right here in the state you call home. Daily exposure to Good Things with Rebecca Turner may cause smiling, feelings of positivity, happiness, and even laughter. When you experience these symptoms, tell your friends to listen. Okay. Weekdays starting at 2 p.m. here on SuperTalk Mississippi and now on Amazon Alexa devices.
For something new and unique in talk radio, take a listen to The Ben Shapiro Show. Every day, we're driving the debate in America with the fastest moving, hardest hitting, most comprehensive, fact-based commentary on the radio. We don't hold back. We never shy away from telling you the truth. Our show is a meeting place of ideas. We have the most important guests and the biggest thinkers in America.
Weeknights at 9.
For something new and unique in talk radio, take a listen to The Ben Shapiro Show.
On SuperTalk Mississippi. SuperTalk Mississippi.
From outer space, visitors from another world.
We've had contact with bug-eyed monsters.
This is actually a flying saucer.
Flying saucer?
I'm from another planet.
Where late nights are kind of weird.
Well, they must have a reason for their visit.
The unexplained, the weird, and the downright creepy. Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie. Late nights. SuperTalk Mississippi. What decisions are being made by state lawmakers, and how will they affect you, your family, and community? If you listen, you'll know. SuperTalk Mississippi, the SuperTalk app, and at supertalk.fm.
Hi, I'm Billy Kinder, host of Big Billy Kinder Outdoors here. The show Saturdays at 1, right here on SuperTalk Mississippi. Turkeys, whitetail, Grenada Lake crappie, or Gulfport redfish. We enjoy it all, especially when you're in camp with us on SuperTalk Mississippi.
Hey, I'm Steve Azar, and you never know who or what you'll hear when I spend a Mississippi Minute with my friends. We are with the fabulous Norbert Putnam as he played on so many hit records, you can't count them, and produced for some of the biggest acts ever. We got to talk Jimmy Buffett.
One day at breakfast, he says, I started a new song. He says, about a night and a day in Key West, I played a bar and I got drunk, and coming home, I stepped out of my flip-flop, and I just kept going. I stepped on a beer can. And the next morning, I'm up, and I'm hungover, and I'm trying to make a margarita. I got some shrimp boiling. I can't find the salt. I said, Jimmy, I kind of like this. And he said, yeah, I think I'll call it Margaritaville.
In a Mississippi Minute. Be sure to check out In a Mississippi Minute with me, Steve Azar, right here on your local SuperTalk Mississippi station and now on iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher.
If Alexa's part of your life, you've got one more way to access SuperTalk. SuperTalk Mississippi is now available on Amazon Alexa devices. Once enabled, just say, Alexa, play SuperTalk Mississippi at any time and start listening. It's that easy. Just one more way to stay informed and connected with your state. Learn more at supertalk.fm/Alexa. SuperTalk Mississippi. SuperTalk Mississippi. Now available on Amazon Alexa devices.
Hey, guess what? Bob is back, now at 106.3, playing the 80s, 90s, and whatever.
I get knocked down, but I get up again.
Check us out, the new Bob 106.3.
And now, it's Coast Vue with Ricky Mathews. Brought to you by J. Allen Toyota and AGJ Systems and Networks on SuperTalk 103.1 FM.
Welcome to Coast Vue, the show that every single day celebrates the amazing men and women who are making coastal Mississippi such a great place to live, work, and play. Hope you had a great weekend and your Monday has started off with a bang. Anyway, I've got a great guest that we're going to come to in just a minute. LuAnn Pappas, the CEO of the Scarlet Pearl. But before we do that, I wanted to share a thought with you. I had a terrific conversation with a young entrepreneur. His name is Caleb Olku last week. If you missed that conversation, you can go to the SuperTalk Mississippi Facebook page or the YouTube channel and see it. Just a bright young entrepreneur. He's a One Coast Award winner and has a great career before he landed in coastal Mississippi and is now making his contribution here. But we talk a lot about the sum total of our experiences and how they come together to help you launch new businesses or pursue new ideas or whatever it might be. And it kind of got me thinking. I often do this as a retired executive, looking back on my career. I think about the things that enable my success. I sometimes think about things I wish I'd have done differently. But, at the end of the day, I don't really have a lot of regrets. I really don't. I was always in a position where I was willing to take risk. I was always wanting to learn new things. I was like, someone I think one day described me as a human sponge. I just like that. I think the more we learn, the more we better learn how much we don't know, that this quest for knowledge keeps us humble and it keeps us hungry to learn more things. But I was constantly putting myself in situations that stretched me. It made me feel super uncomfortable because it was in those moments that I believe that I learned the most. It's in those moments that I believe that I contributed the most. And it's in those moments when I felt like I really actually grew the most. And so when I look back on my career, I think about the one thing that made the most difference. And that is that I learned to trust my gut. We don't often trust our gut. What is the gut? Gut's your DNA, of course. It's mixed in with your experiences, both good and bad. It's situational awareness and analysis, being able to understand the situation you're in and being able to respond to it appropriately. It's good old common sense. And I think all of these things come together to create what I often refer to as practical wisdom. Just good old practical wisdom. But as a general rule, humans are very adaptive. But the one thing that we all share is that we all are risk averse. We don't like risk. So we naturally are going to kind of want to repel from risk. And so what will happen is if you trust your gut, because your gut is smart, it may actually tell you pretty immediately that this is something you probably need to do. This is a risk you need to take. This is the decision you need to make. This is an opportunity you need to experience. But what happens when you start thinking about it? You contemplate. Time then lets this sort of human thing settle in, which is to say, I need to avoid the risk. I need to be careful. And so you end up with too much contemplation, not taking the decision or making the decision that your gut told you to take. Instead, you take a safer path. And what I've learned is the safer path always wasn't the best path. In fact, what I learned is it might have been a good decision, a safe decision in the moment, but it was not necessarily the best decision for me long term. It was not the best decision for me. And it was certainly not the best decision for my business. And so you have, the beauty is when you get to look back, you have the benefit of experience in 2020 and history. And when I look back, I learned that the times I trusted my gut, the times that I put myself in uncomfortable situations, the times that when I was willing to take those risks, the times when I was super uncomfortable, that's when I learned the most. And that's when I had the most success. Just something to think about. I just wanted to share that this morning. So now let's move over to my friend LuAnn Pappas, who is the CEO of the Scarlet Pearl Casino. We've had a long Coast Vue session with her. She's got such a cool story, such a great story. But anyway, before I go any further, let me just say good morning to you, LuAnn. How are you?
Good morning. I just enjoyed everything you said.
Yeah, I can see you shaking your head. But it's true, isn't it? It is true that how many times have you been in a situation when your gut told you one thing, after too much contemplation, you made another decision, and you looked back on it and said, dang it, I should have trusted my gut on that one.
I smile because when you say that, the best decisions I've made are the ones where I've taken a risk and because it's what my gut told me to do.
Yeah, that's been mine too. That's been mine too. And one of the things that Caleb pointed out the other day, which I think is really important, and you know this well too, because you've had this incredible career working your way up through the organization to become a CEO, is that that the beauty of acting fast is that you get to fail faster. And so the failure will tell you two things. One is that maybe your idea wasn't ready to fly, which is fine. You can go back and rethink it. Or the other is you can learn from the failure. Sometimes we learn more from the failures than we do from the successes, don't we?
We sure do. We sure do. I remember a time where I made an error thinking I knew more than the world, and it was 3 o'clock in the morning, and it was a decision on customer, this was years ago, that wanted to make a bet. Well, that caused $1 million swing, not in our favor. And I think back to that, and I share that story often because that was, by anyone's account, a very, very large mistake. But again, that's math. That's different than gut instinct, but it's a situation that I think about and liken often to this business. We're going to make mistakes. Sometimes the biggest mistakes I make, though, are those where I have the most amount of time to think about it.
And that's true. That is so true. So some people, you'll make the pitch to them, and you'll say, well, when are you going to make a decision? I say, well, let me think about it for a few days, and then a few weeks goes by. And what I learned about in those situations, sometimes you might get what you're looking for, but I came to understand those situations this way, is that bad news travels slowly. So sometimes the best decisions, sometimes the most successful decisions come pretty quick because you've created a compelling case for moving forward, and people are bought into that, and you're able to do that. But what I like about your story, which I remember so well, is that you have always been someone who listens to others. You've really focused on being sort of fair, throughout your career. I know you when you were in marketing, but when I was at the Sun Herald and when I was over in New Orleans, you're disciplined. You're firm about the decisions you make. You when you decide that you are going to make a decision, you make the decision, and then you pursue the accomplishment of whatever that decision is with a dogged determination. That's just who you are, and it's helped you launch that casino. It's helped you in so many other efforts. I mean, I'll just think about more recently, the vaccination decision you made. What a bold decision in the moment. In the moment, it was a very bold decision. A lot of people probably said, but there's a certain part of the population that's going to resist that, and you're having difficulty. There's a lot of churn in the industry, and you're having difficulty getting employees and whatever. You didn't let that deter you from the decision you felt like was best for you and your customers. And you look back on it now, and you got 100% conformance now. Talk to me about, let's talk about the decision-making process behind that, and then the success of it.
Well, you talk about delayed reactions. This is a topic we continue to talk about, even though Scarlet Pearl and all of us it's behind us because we're all vaccinated. We started at the top. We worked down through the organization. We said leaders must lead by example. Not only did we, the leaders, get the vaccine, our board of directors got the vaccine. And it's a family-owned business. But it was a rather quick decision after a lengthy time of suffering the consequences of a horrific, virus pandemic that none of us had any knowledge of. But it's funny what you say, because today's a perfect example to be asking that question. Today being obviously Wednesday versus Monday, but there's a picket going on outside of Scarlet Pearl. And again, not anyone that works here. For us, it's behind us. We've moved on. But not everyone has moved on. Yet, to your point, this was more of a decision based on science. But my gut knew that if we were willing to put in the time on the front end and communicate the whys, the wherefores, the hows, the who, that we would get through this. But we weren't naive to the fact that we wouldn't take some hits. Now, I will tell you that I'm naive to the fact that how cruel people can be and how mean they can be, but it's not the people that work here. It's this group of people that want to talk about freedom. Now, there's no one more conservative than I am. There's no, I'm like most people. Freedom is very important to us. That's why we choose to live where we live and support the things that we do. But obviously that's been taken to an extreme here. Great question. It was not a difficult decision. We said, here are the pros, and they far outweighed the cons. We had people that lost lives and lost incomes. It doesn't take long to say, ultimately, you're responsible for the lives that work here, the health, the happiness, their satisfaction. And you know what? We made the right decision, and I'll continue to say that, and we'll continue to take whatever criticism people want to give us or throw our way.
Yeah, I've said repeatedly on air that I'm disappointed at how the vaccination has become so politicized, and it's really unfortunate. And no matter what healthcare professional I talk to, say that's such a shame that we've got this one defense that works extremely well. And I've been to the hospital. I've seen the people on respirators, and when I went to Singing River, and the surgical intensive care, the ICU, and even the emergency room full of people on ventilators, none of them had been vaccinated. And many of them were very young. So I've seen it with my own eyes. I hate that the politicization has occurred, and now we were doing it within the guise of freedom. But, you still got to make tough decisions, and this is one that's best for your employees and your customers. Hey, when we come back, we're going to continue our conversation with my friend LuAnn Pappas, who's the CEO of Scarlet Pearl. See you after this break.
It's 2021 and J. Allen Toyota still has a lifetime warranty on all new Toyotas. They all come with Toyota Care. We've got a great rental department. We've got great used cars. We've got a parts and service department ready to help you. So when you think Toyota, think J. Allen Toyota.
If Alexa's part of your life, you've got one more way to access SuperTalk. SuperTalk Mississippi is now available on Amazon Alexa devices. Once enabled, just say, Alexa, play SuperTalk Mississippi at any time and start listening. It's that easy. Just one more way to stay informed and connected with your state. Learn more at supertalk.fm/Alexa. SuperTalk Mississippi. SuperTalk Mississippi. Now available on Amazon Alexa devices.
When COVID started, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply began stocking hard-to-find PPE items. When Amazon and other mega internet companies were out of stock or inflating prices, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply was providing local schools and businesses vital PPE supplies at fair prices. When your office needs PPE supplies, office furniture, or products to keep your business operating, consider Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply. We sell that too. Buy local.
Thousands of Bulldog fans have subscribed to the Thunder and Lightning podcast. Have you? On each episode, Brian Haydad and Joel Coleman give you an inside look at your Mississippi State Bulldogs. The Thunder and Lightning podcast is free and available on demand at supertalk.fm and on your smartphone. Just search for Thunder and Lightning on iTunes, Google Play, or anywhere you listen to podcasts. Thunder and Lightning from SuperTalk, Mississippi, covering the Bulldogs like no one else. SuperTalk Mississippi.
From outer space, visitors from another world. We've had contact with bug-eyed monsters.
This is actually a flying saucer.
Flying saucer?
I'm from another planet.
Where late nights are kind of weird.
Well, they must have a reason for their visits.
The unexplained, the weird, and the downright creepy. Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie. Late nights. SuperTalk Mississippi. Feeling down? Here's your prescription for a daily dose of good news and positive vibes. Good Things with Rebecca Turner. Every afternoon, Rebecca highlights all the good things happening right here in the state you call home. Daily exposure to Good Things with Rebecca Turner may cause smiling, feelings of positivity, happiness, and even laughter. When you experience these symptoms, tell your friends to listen. Okay. Weekdays starting at 2 p.m. here on SuperTalk Mississippi and now on Amazon Alexa devices.
Hey, guess what? Bob is back. Now at 106.3, playing the 80s, 90s, and whatever.
I get knocked down, but I get up again.
Check us out. The new Bob 106.3.
His love for the coast is why he's here. It's Coast Vue with Ricky Mathews on SuperTalk Mississippi Gulf Coast 103.1.
Welcome back to Coast Vue. We're having a conversation with my friend LuAnn Pappas, who's the CEO of Scarlet Pearl. LuAnn, you know, when I look back at our conversation, our hour-long Coast Vue session together, it made such an impression on me because, again, I knew you when you were in marketing, and then, of course, I see you in your role as the CEO. You're such a positive influence in the community, and you really work hard to make sure that your team is aligned around serving customers and all of that. But the fact that you started do I remember it right? It was a gift shop. I mean, it was like the midnight shift of a gift shop 30-something years ago.
36 years ago.
You worked your way through this, and to be, well, first of all, to be a woman in that setting and to just kind of fight your way through the process with the determination you brought to it, it helps you really be a better leader today, doesn't it?
Absolutely, it does. I say that this business, as much as we want to call it entertainment, for most of us is a study in human behavior. And again, experience has certainly helped me in my most recent role, and working away from the bottom up.
Well, okay, so let's put your marketing hat on a second. One of the things that you so well understood, and you were specializing in marketing through sort of the digital revolution, so you understood traditional role of marketing, and you understand sort of the new role of marketing. But today it's really kind of a combination of the two at the end of the day. But what's embedded in marketing, what's embedded in your approach to marketing, and why you perform better as a CEO is because you know in your core about what I'm about to say is that when you talk about the brand of a company, let's say Scarlet Pearl, the brand by itself doesn't mean anything. But when you start to lay the groundwork for what the promise is behind the brand, what is it that people will experience? What is it they're going to think about when they think about that brand? How do you align your employees around that promise? How do you make sure that when you market, that you're marketing the attributes of that promise, and then when people act on the marketing and come to your organization, they see the employees who really buy into whatever that promise is. So as a marketing executive, it really helps you be a better CEO, doesn't it?
I'm so thankful for the marketing background, and you've said it best. You know, we can all, when I think we have a brand, it's how do you make that brand believable and come to life? And it's easier said than sometimes done. But even within the confines of our four walls, we say Scarlet Pearl, and we are known. We are known for a family business. We're known for being in the community and being the best possible employer we can for employees in this industry. But within the building, each outlet has its own brand. If you're a Me Pizza or Lounge Nacherie, and branding is important because we can all say what we want to be, but it's whether the consumer believes that and that it's tangible and they can see it and feel it and touch it and hear it. So I'm very thankful for my background in marketing, more importantly, branding.
Well, I see it in everything that you're doing. I see it in, okay, again, I made a little note about this because it was just something you posted on Facebook and it stuck out to me. But in things like the Orchard Room, when you guys launched the Orchard Room, and the care you put into things like the drapes in the Orchard Room and how the decor fits together with this sense of this VIP experience that you wanted to create for your customers, you don't leave a lot of details undealt with. And to be successful, you can't ignore the details. But talk about why that's so important.
Well, again, when you think about the Orchid Room and what that strategy was, we knew we were under-servicing a unique marketing customer, and that was the VIP or VVIP customer. And in order to do that, you certainly studied what happened in the past, where you've worked, what markets, what brands, and what is it that we could do different and bring different to the VIP business. One of which is to make sure that every touch point followed through with that theme, that concept, and that strategy. Right down to, and a lot of people don't realize this unless they play in that room, and by the way, it's not just for VIP customers, but you get, body massagers, warm towels, just like you're on first class on an airplane, warm nuts, a glass of champagne when you walk in. We auditioned each position, and it took us months during a pandemic to make sure that we filled that job with the actor or actress that will live that brand and understand what it means to work in that room and service our very best customers.
So remarkable. But it's the truth of, I don't care who I talk to. When I talk to successful people in coastal Mississippi, they're burning the midnight oil. There are no such things as 8 to 5 and success. Well, from time to time, maybe there's an exception to the rule, but mostly, no matter how, I always say, and I certainly learned this in my career because I was the CEO the last 15, 16 years of my career, but the higher up you go, the more you better be paying attention to these details, and you never get away from it. 7 hours a day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. You never get away from it. But that's the key to success. At the end of the day, when you're talking about extending a brand like Scarlet Pearl or the brands inside of Scarlet Pearl, you're only as good as your last performance. And you know that every single day, don't you?
We sure do know it every single day. We're getting ready. Yesterday, we had a fabulous offsite meeting with our architect and our contractor, Andercor. And it is overwhelming when you think about what goes in to creating. We're getting ready to build a new hotel tower. We're moving our cafe. We're going to call it the Under the Lemon Tree. So you think about all of the things that go into it again in terms of even, what market are you targeting? What people are you going to employ? What do they need for that asset? But you are right. I believe this of any successful person. No matter whether you're in a 24/7 hour business or 7-day-a-week business or not, to be successful, you have to be breathing, eating it, and sleeping it. It is what it is when you're aspiring for perfection, if there is such a thing.
It's exciting to see that you are continuing to think strategically about how to expand your business, grow your share. I love your commitment to Andercor. I know Roy Anderson really well. We graduated from high school together. We've had, terrific conversations over years, but you're very committed to his company. And I see that play out in so many different ways, but it takes a great partner, doesn't it? It takes a strategic partner to achieve the construction goals that you have, doesn't it?
It does. And what I wish everyone would know and see is that Roy understands the family and understands me. His team understands what we're trying to create. Roy said it best, and he's actually the one that said it's not just about today, 2 years, 3 years. We have to plan for 10 years out. It's like putting together a widget. You can't just go ahead and build 300 more hotel rooms and not make sure that everything else in the facility is built first to be able to satisfy the demand of that many more customers. But what a great partner in terms of his influence in a lot of what we do. And he knows us so well and what we want that he is even more forward thinking at times than we are.
What's amazing is he built his initial company with his help from his father, and then after his father's death, he continued to kind of expand it, became one of the largest construction companies in the Southeast. He sold it, could have just cashed in the chips and rode off into the sunset, but no. He starts another company called Andercor and he's doing it all over again. And the expansion efforts, every time I turn around, they're announcing a new project somewhere and bringing on a new team member. And you can see by the way that they formulate their announcements that there is the brand within his company that they're very significantly focused on. So it's a very impressive story. It's a very, very impressive story.
Family business, great compliment, same philosophy and culture.
Yeah, so that's really good. So how's business?
Business is exceptionally well. We just had a meeting at 7 o'clock this morning. Maybe you and a lot of other people can help us. We're in that stage where many businesses are, where you're planning 2022. How much you're going to make, how much do you need to spend, what's it going to look like? And here we are again saying, what do we compare it to? Last year was better than pre-pandemic. This year is better than ever. And again, not just our business, every business is saying, no matter who I talk to, where do we go with this? When does it stop? I don't know that the days of 54% increase in EBITDA are going to continue, or 94% increase in net revenues. I still believe we have another good 12 to 18 months of it being unusually high. The unknowns are certainly the economy, and what's going to happen in external factors that we don't control.
I think one of the smartest things we did as a set of communities is recognize that in the face of the pandemic, 80% of the people who came here in cars. So we really focused on marketing to the communities that would go drive somewhere and introducing a whole new set of tourists and visitors to this area. The combined efforts of all of the casinos working to do their marketing with that of coastal Mississippi really created an introduction to a lot of people. Someone said, well, you've got a lot of free money that's out there, and that's why revenue is up. But if that were true, all these other tourist destinations across the United States would be doing really well, but they're not. We were setting records. We were setting records because we were strategically focused, and we've got something to offer. So where does the future go? Heck, I don't know. It's still going to be very positive, though. That's for sure.
Not only have we, as a result of the pandemic and our ability, to be a coastal community marketing to a drive-in market, not only did we see an influx of new people that we had never seen before, the average age is skewing younger, which is a wonderful thing. Wonderful.
It is. It really is. LuAnn, we should have spent an hour together today. You're a terrific leader. I enjoy spending time with you and following you on all your endeavors. But anyway, we'll pick it up again soon in maybe a month or two. This is LuAnn Pappas, the CEO of Scarlet Pearl. Thank you, LuAnn.
Thank you. Have a great day. Bye.
You bet. We'll see you after this break.
Bye.
Listen live or on demand and watch episodes of Coast Vue on your laptop, desktop, or on your phone or tablet by going to supertalkmsgulfcoast.com.
Hey, guess what? Bob is back, now at 106.3, playing the 80s, 90s, and whatever.
I get knocked down, but I get up again.
Check us out, the new Bob 106.3.
Feeling down? Here's your prescription for a daily dose of good news and positive vibes. Good Things with Rebecca Turner. Every afternoon, Rebecca highlights all the good things happening right here in the state you call home. Daily exposure to Good Things with Rebecca Turner may cause smiling, feelings of positivity, happiness, and even laughter. When you experience these symptoms, tell your friends to listen.
Okay.
Weekdays starting at 2 p.m. here on SuperTalk Mississippi and now on Amazon Alexa devices.
Hey South Mississippi, the future has arrived. It's 2021, and at J. Allen Toyota, we're here to serve you. Want to let you know that we have Allen's lifetime warranty on every new Toyota we sell. That also comes with Toyota Care. That's 2 years and 25,000 miles of complimentary maintenance. We have a great rental department. Our service department's ready to take care of your current vehicle. We're rolling out J. Allen certified pre-owned for 2021. You got to come to I-10 exit 38 right here in Gulfport. You're going to love what we have to offer. When you think Toyota, think Allen Toyota.
Get the scoop on what happened in college football and what to expect in the NFL. Each Sunday on Sports Sunday with Michael Borky. Get the story behind the stats, 8 to 10 a.m. on SuperTalk Mississippi, supertalk.fm, and watch the show on supertalk.tv. SuperTalk Mississippi. We're more than just words. This is where the story of your state is told. Proud to cover the Magnolia State like nobody else. SuperTalk Mississippi.
When COVID started, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply began stocking very hard-to-find PPE items to make our community a safer place. When Amazon and other mega internet companies were out of stock or inflating prices, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply was providing local schools and businesses vital PPE supplies at fair prices. They were even sending thousands of dollars of PPE supplies free to local schools in need with help from other local business leaders. The next time your office needs PPE supplies, office furniture, or products to keep your business operating, consider a local company that supports your ball teams, cheerleaders, and area homeless. Consider Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply, the local guys that keep your prices fair, your service and selection excellent, and your health our business. Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply. We sell that too. Buy local.
Super Talk, Mississippi.
From outer space, visitors from another world. We've had contact with bug-eyed monsters.
This is actually a flying saucer.
Flying saucer?
I'm from another planet.
Where late nights are kind of weird.
Well, they must have a reason for their visit.
The unexplained, the weird, and the downright creepy. Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie. Late nights. Super Talk, Mississippi.
Hey, I'm Steve Azar, and you never know who or what you'll hear when I spend a Mississippi Minute with my friends. Talking to Paul Thorne, Mississippi true treasure, really incredible recording artist, singer, songwriter, has been doing it a long time, doing it the right way.
It's almost like a Forrest Gump thing because, I was a boxer, / I worked in a furniture factory, / I had a gig 2 nights a week playing my acoustic guitar in a pizza restaurant, / I was in the National Guard, and, all this stuff was going on at the same time. / I had a writing contract with Rick Hall and Fame.
In a Mississippi Minute. Be sure to check out In a Mississippi Minute with me, Steve Azar, right here on SuperTalk Mississippi, the SuperTalk Mississippi app, and now available on iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher.
For something new and unique in talk radio, take a listen to The Ben Shapiro Show. Every day, we're driving the debate in America with the fastest moving, hardest hitting, most comprehensive fact-based commentary on the radio. We don't hold back. We never shy away from telling you the truth. Our show is a meeting place of ideas. We have the most important guests and the biggest thinkers in America.
Weeknights at 9.
For something new and unique in talk radio, take a listen to The Ben Shapiro Show
on Super Talk, Mississippi. Super Talk, Mississippi.
Just seems to me people have so much invested in not telling the truth.
When you want the truth.
Simply because it might hurt some feelings.
And nothing but the truth.
Lose some subscribers.
You want the Gallo Radio Show.
I just think in this audience, you still believe that if you tell the truth, you come out ahead.
The Gallo Radio Show.
And if you tell yourself otherwise, you're lying to yourself.
Mornings on Super Talk, Mississippi.
Hey, guess what? Bob is back, now at 106.3, playing the 80s, 90s, and whatever.
I get knocked down, but I get up again.
Check us out, the new Bob 106.3.
And now, it's Coast Vue with Ricky Mathews. Brought to you by J. Allen Toyota and AGJ Systems and Networks on Super Talk 103.1 FM.
Welcome back to Coast Vue. I really enjoyed that conversation with LuAnn Pappas, the CEO of Scarlet Pearl. And, you never know where the conversation is going to go. And I shared at the beginning of that discussion about one thing I learned in my career, not just as a CEO, but even before that, was that we should trust our guts more often. That sometimes too much contemplation leads us to a safer decision. But a decision is probably not best for your future and certainly not best for your business. And what I learned in my career was, when I trusted my gut, it usually paid off. And it was interesting to hear her point of view about that. And she's such a good leader. She's such a definitive leader, but inspiring leader. And it's good to have the opportunity to talk to people like LuAnn. So now we're going to shift gears and move over to my friend Tee McCovey, who's the president and CEO of the United Way in Jackson and George County. And he, too, was a recent One Coast recipient. And he's been inducted into a couple of Hall of Fames along the way. We're going to talk about all that. But before we get any further, let me say welcome, T. How are you doing, buddy?
Thanks for having me, Rick. Appreciate it.
United Way of Jackson and George County, really, really, really important. A big campaign. We're going to come back and talk about the campaign and what you guys do in the community and all that. But I want to talk about T for a second. Does that sound good?
That sounds good.
So how does it feel to have grown up in Pascagoula, to have been sort of a sports star who got inducted into the Hall of Fame there, and also lead the United Way? That's got to feel like you've come full circle in ways that are almost transformative.
Well, it is, Ricky, but one of the things about growing up here, and I've traveled all over the world, but coming back home, you always have those folks in your corner that remind you of when you had two left feet, and so I have a lot of folks in my corner. You remember when you missed that pop fly, and so yeah, I got some folks that keeps me grounded.
Well, you know what? So it's funny. I have those same people in my life because I grew up in coastal Mississippi as well, and had the opportunity to go away later in my career. Never lost my base station here, but
Yes.
still was away a lot. And my dearest friends are the ones who keep me, always kept me humble, and they
Yes.
always
Yes.
reminded me, of where home was. And man, I love that part though. You say that jokingly, but boy, it's meaningful, isn't it?
It is. And I also pastor a church here, and my older sister, I'm the baby of the family, and being her pastor, and she often reminds me, don't forget, I used to change your diapers and all of that. So anytime I want to go on one of those big head runs, she can bring me back down to earth.
So you went to you left high school from Pascagoula High, where you played basketball.
Yeah.
And you went to Arkansas. Tell me about that decision.
Well, actually, I was I went to Perk first. I had a couple of different offers. I mean, offers at Ole Miss and several other schools, but I played a position in high school that I was not going to have to play in college. So I needed to hone my skills on the perimeter and all of that. So went to Perk. We won a couple of state championships, and then went to Arkansas college, and then after that went and played in the Air Force, and lived overseas and played in Spain and Greece and Turkey, and so I've been all over the place, and then ended up in the Bay Area of California, where my uncle is Willie McCovey, who played for the Giants. So being in the Bay Area. And I've often told the story, when I lived out there for 5 years, I got stopped by the highway patrol probably 20 times because I had this heavy foot. But when I would give them my license, they would look and see McCovey. They go, any relation to Stretch? And man, I played that card. That's my uncle.
But I heard that it's so interesting, because I love to focus on the military community in coastal Mississippi, and how people have, people who weren't from here came here, have been all over the world, and then end up retiring here. I met a doctor yesterday, Dr. Han. He's a cardiologist at Memorial. And, he settled here. Great education. He chose coastal Mississippi as the place to live. But I've been to Spain, spent time in Madrid. My son lived in Madrid for a period of time to learn Spanish. The area along, I've spent time in Croatia. You mentioned Turkey and Greece. What a beautiful part of the world to learn more about. And then I spent a lot of time in the Bay Area, because my headquarters company was stationed in San Jose.
Wow.
So, we've seen a lot of similar things in our lives.
Yeah.
So that gives you great perspective, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And just the diversity of cultures and people, and getting different perspectives on, whether it's a political issue or sports teams, or, it just gives you a kind of a 360-degree view of life. And instead of having that linear one-track view, and I owed all of that to the military when I went in the Air Force, and just meeting people from different cultures and climates. And I mean, it was just an awesome experience.
That's so cool to hear. Hey, I saw you smiling when I was talking about the lesson that I shared at the beginning of my conversation with LuAnn about trusting your gut and not doing too much contemplation.
Yeah.
What did that conjure up in you when I was mentioning that?
Well, my gut feeling kind of, it takes me to a place where I mean, sometimes you have some fear with that, you know, when you have that gut feeling. And I give you an example. I went on a job interview one time for an organization, and I retired from the Department of Employment Security, overseeing the lower 24 counties of WIN job centers. And when I went in for an interview for that position, you know, I was the last guy to be interviewed. And I had only been with the agency 12 years, and there were folks, you know, 25 and 30 years that were applying for this job. And we were going through some transformation, and I was out for my morning run, and I, you know, had that gut feeling of, you know, they're going to ask you this question. And when they do, you say this. And so the question was, why do you think you're the person for this job? And I told them, I said, well, this organization is going through a fundamental transformation of change. In order for you to do that, you're going to need me for that. And so all of the folks on the committee kind of took a step back. I'm like, okay. And so, but yeah, I have to walk through some fear when I get those gut feelings, because it's, you know, kind of out of the ordinary.
It is. And I said, when you trust your gut, it often leads to a situation that can be highly uncomfortable, but it's in those moments. It's in those moments you learn the most. It's in those moments maybe you take the most risk, but it's in those moments when you contribute the most. Yes. It's how you separate yourself from, in your case, the competitors around you, you know, vying for that same job. It makes a difference, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. And I did get the job, by the way.
Yeah, well, good. Well, it's awesome to hear sort of the trail you took that led you back to coastal Mississippi, and specifically to Jackson County in this role at United Way. You know, when you said you were a pastor, and I hear what you said about gut and this experience that you've gotten all around, but I sense a real purposeful humility when I'm talking to you. Yeah. Is that by design, or is that who you are? Talk to me about that.
Well, and you know, being an athlete, and I was one of those athletes that, you know, I mean, I talk trash, and, you know, you had to, you know, really try to get in your opponent's head. And so, and then, you know, that transition from that environment of win, be tough, and, you know, when you talk about a spiritual life, I mean, it's a totally different life. And so, and that is something that, you know, I had to work on. And you know, I remember being in college, my college coach told me one day about humility. And he said, son, do you know what humility means? And we had just beaten up on our opponents. And I said some cocky statement about, well, if it's mopping up those guys, yes, coach, I know what humility means. And so we actually had a laugh at that at our Hall of Fame ceremony. I said, coach, I know what humility means now. He said, good, son. I've been trying to teach you that for years.
Well, I mean, I think wisdom teaches you that. You know, certainly a spiritual life teaches you that.
Absolutely.
You know, we're all, in the scheme of the world, we're all small, and sometimes people forget sort of where, you know, the role they play. And I've always tried to make the most amount of difference. That, you know, by the way, making the most amount of difference doesn't always mean making everyone happy. I mean, sometimes you got to make tough decisions. And even in your role as United Way, I mean, you get a lot of requests. United Way gets lots of requests, but you have a limited number of opportunities. You're really focused on outcomes, the formal phrase outcomes-based approach. So you want to make contributions that are going to pay dividends and whatever. So it means, you know, sometimes having to say no, and that's tough sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah. It is. And, you know, United Way's been in this community for 62 years. And, you know, there are over 1,800 United Ways worldwide. And all of us we play out of the same playbook. We have 3 primary focus areas, and that's education, health, and income stability. And so
let's do this. We're coming to the end of this, but what we're going to do is pick it up right there when we come up on the other side. But this is T. McCovey, who's the president and CEO of the United Way of Jackson and George Counties, and we'll see you after this break.
You can also listen live to SuperTalk Mississippi Gulf Coast 103.1 on your Amazon Alexa devices. Once you've enabled the skill, just say, Alexa, open SuperTalk Mississippi Gulf Coast.
Hey, guess what? Bob is back. Now at 106.3, playing the 80s, 90s, and whatever.
I get knocked down, but I get up again.
Check us out. The new Bob 106.3.
Hey, South Mississippi, it's Jay Allen at Jay Allen Toyota, and I got something new for you for 2021. It's the Jay Allen Certified Collection. What that means is we selected our very best inventory with under 75,000 miles, and they're 6 years old or newer. That comes with a multi-point inspection, a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty, and a 3-day buyback guarantee. So come check out the Jay Allen Certified Pre-Owned Collection right here, I-10 exit 38 in Gulfport, or on allentoyota.com.
When COVID started, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply began stocking hard-to-find PPE items. When Amazon and other mega internet companies were out of stock or inflating prices, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply was providing local schools and businesses vital PPE supplies at fair prices. When your office needs PPE supplies, office furniture, or products to keep your business operating, consider Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply. We sell that too. Buy local.
SuperTalk Mississippi, your new home for the Ben Shapiro Show.
We don't hold back. We never shy away from telling you the truth.
The most electrifying national talk show on air today.
We have the most important guests and the biggest thinkers in America.
Ben Shapiro, brutally breaking down the issues of the day.
From politics to pop culture, we take a look at all of it. So don't miss out.
Weeknights at 9.
For something new and unique in talk radio, take a listen to The Ben Shapiro Show.
On SuperTalk Mississippi. SuperTalk Mississippi.
Just seems to me people have so much invested in not telling the truth.
When you want the truth.
Simply because it might hurt some feelings.
And nothing but the truth.
Lose some subscribers.
You want the Gallo Radio Show.
I just think in this audience, you still believe that if you tell the truth, you come out ahead.
The Gallo Radio Show.
And if you tell yourself otherwise, you're lying to yourself.
Mornings on SuperTalk Mississippi. Thousands of Bulldog fans have subscribed to the Thunder and Lightning podcast. Have you? On each episode, Brian Haydad and Joel Coleman give you an inside look at your Mississippi State Bulldogs. The Thunder and Lightning podcast is free and available on demand at supertalk.fm and on your smartphone. Just search for Thunder and Lightning on iTunes, Google Play, or anywhere you listen to podcasts. Thunder and Lightning from SuperTalk Mississippi, covering the Bulldogs like no one else.
Hey, I'm Steve Azar, and you never know who or what you'll hear when I spend a Mississippi Minute with my friends. We're talking to Del Berra. Take me back to growing up and what it was like in the household with a dad like Yogi Berra.
You know, we grew up with his funny sayings. You know, I remember Dad managing the Mets, and me, Larry, and Timmy are watching the game on TV. And all of a sudden, two streakers run out of the stands on TV, and the camera flips away from them. So when he gets home, me, Larry, and Timmy say, "Hey, Dad, those streakers, what were they, boys or girls? We need to know." And Dad looked us right in the eye and said, "I couldn't tell. They had bags over their heads."
In a Mississippi Minute. Be sure to check out In a Mississippi Minute with me, Steve Azar, right here on SuperTalk Mississippi, the SuperTalk Mississippi app, and now available on iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher.
Hey, guess what? Bob is back. Now at 106.3, playing the 80s, 90s, and whatever.
I get knocked down, but I get up again.
Check us out. The new Bob 106.3.
Talking to the people that help make the coast such a unique place to live. This is Coast Vue with Ricky Mathews on SuperTalk Mississippi Gulf Coast 103.1.
Welcome back to Coast Vue. I mean, one of the great joys of my job is I get to talk to cool people, and Tee McCovey is one of those guys. President and CEO of the United Way of Jackson and George counties. When we went to break, though, he was saying there are 1,800 United Way entities around the world, and they all share three goals. Say the three goals again, and then finish your thought.
Yes, you know, our primary focus areas are education, income, and health. And we believe, Ricky, that if we can raise those three areas in our communities, it can lower the unemployment rate, it can lower the poverty rate, and a lot of other negative rates, especially for us here in Mississippi. You know, we kind of get a black eye when it comes to, national statistics. And I recently heard that we were the clumsiest state. And that the reason being that there are more people that file for workman's comp claims. And so in Mississippi, so they kind of attached that to us. A couple of years ago, I was looking at some numbers and I'm like, okay, what else, but yeah, United Way, we're just trying to make an impact in the community in a variety of ways.
Talk about the United Way campaign and why it is really kind of the pinnacle moment for the year.
Yeah, here, and my counterpart, Kathy Springer over in Gulfport, we just, I know our campaign this year, the theme is reimagining our community. And our goal this year is $2 million. And so, coming out of the pandemic, one of the things that we did at the height of the pandemic is we became a kind of a PPE distribution center. We never closed. We never, the community needed us more so then and now than they've ever needed us. And so, we were able to stock up on Lysol and hand that out to nonprofits and wipes. And, we were getting Lysol when the rest of the country couldn't get Lysol. And we had this one distributor that you can get 6 cans every 2 weeks. And I cannot give you the name of this distributor. So every 2 weeks, we were getting 6 cans of Lysol when everyone was like, we can't get this. So where are you getting this from? And so, but we became, as I said, a distribution center for our community and just the philanthropic and generosity of donors. It hit the roof.
It's so important in order for United Way campaign to work. And wherever I've been a huge supporter of United Way. It starts on the top of the organization. There has to be a commitment. And the whole principle for people who may not quite appreciate it goes back to the old adage of a community trust, that you could have people having to give pitches to a bunch of different organizations, or you can pick United Way. Not that these other organizations don't still exist. Mm-hmm. You can pick United Way and let them make sure that your money's being invested in the community in the most efficient way. And the more funds they have, the more benefit they can make. And in order to have a successful employee campaign, the CEO's got to be on board. Absolutely. And you've been lucky in Jackson County to have so many leaders in the community who are willing to sort of engage campaigns inside their companies.
Absolutely. And some of the bigger names that folks know about, Ingalls, Chevron, Mississippi Power, the hospital systems in both Jackson and George counties. And you said it, it has to start at the top. And one of the things that we do, Ricky, we show folks the impact of their dollars and what their donation is doing, and here at our United Way, we have 18 agencies that fall under us, and that's one side of our business. And on the other side of the house, as a 501c3, we go after dollars for those other agencies that are not United Way agencies, like our soup kitchen here, Our Daily Bread, and Backpack for Buddies, and some of our local churches have food pantries, and we support them through other philanthropic dollars outside of our normal campaign.
It's exciting. It's exciting, the work that you do. It's important. It's really important, the work that you do. And it's important to have a good campaign. So what's your read on things coming? We're not out of the pandemic, but as things start to settle down a little bit, life gets back to normal. What's your read on how the campaign's going to go this year?
Well, this is what keeps me up at night, and so our campaign will run through the end of the year. We have a push in December, what we call our end of year giving, and then you got a couple of things with Ingalls and a lot of the defense contractors of, employees being vaccinated. So, there's some question marks out there with a couple of our defense contractor employers that are huge United Way supporters. So we're keeping our fingers on the pulse of that. Again, as a pastor, my faith and God, it's when one door closes, you said you would open up others, and so. So we are heavily relying on our faith these next couple of months.
Good luck to you. Good luck to you as you track forward and hoping to have a United Way of Jackson and George County. Maybe hits a record. Maybe people, maybe their point of view about this is that, Lord, has the pandemic showed us the needs in the community. It's now time for me, the giver, the single giver, to be one of the 1,000 points of light to help our community fill those gaps. And that's what it's all about, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, T. McCovey, President and CEO of the United Way of Jackson and George County. Thank you for spending some time with me, my friend.
Oh, Ricky, thanks for having me, man. You guys have a blessed day.
You too. Thank you, man.
Thanks.
Have a great day.
You do the same.
Follow SuperTalk Mississippi Gulf Coast 103.1 on Facebook. Facebook.com/SuperTalk MS Coast 103.1.